Hello everyone, and I regret to inform you that I'm back again. Sorry. And today I'm going to be talking about a really cool knife from a mate of mine. This is the mk1 from Robert Evans. So the Mors-Kahansky tribute knife by R.J., I believe that's Jennifer Evans, Robert Evans. So this is a fantastic little knife. I'm a big fan of this and this design. Start off with the specs then. So we have a 3.5mm ABL blade riding on some natural micarta with some black liners. So all the way at the back we have this rather interesting butt pommel, or this exposed tang that's sort of coming out here. Now this was originally a Mors-Kahansky suggestion to have on a sheath knife, so that you could hammer the back of the knife into a tree in order to, I'm not really sure, climb up it or cut it down, something like that. So that was one of his parameters. I find this actually really good for scraping up tinder, sort of birch bark, the inside of cedar bark, that kind of thing. Another thing on this knife you'll see is it's using lanyard tubes for the pins. Now Mors-Kahansky, again, he wanted the ability to use a knife on an extended pole, so you would lash the actual handle of the knife to a pole and potentially use it as a way for cutting something up high. Now let's move on to the shape of the handle. Really nice little flared pommel out here, which I'm a big fan of, because you can hold it back like that and kind of whip and chop into it and things. Really accentuated palm swell here, very comfortable in the hand, moving up to a really nice little guard here. Now the guard comes out widthways, which is great for this particular grip. Feels very comfortable in the forehand grip, and it's doable for the chest lever, but it maybe might dig in a little bit there, but that's just how it is, and it's a very nice feeling grip, very secure. One thing I really appreciate about this knife is the fact that the edge starts as close to where my index finger will be as possible, so I'm able to get optimum control over this blade. Again, the blade has a really nice sweeping curve, so we know that this is going to cut wood very, very efficiently. The actual profile of the blade, got a straight spine and then a nice little dip towards the end, so a lot of strength there, but also a lot of finesse. My point of manipulation is really close to the edge of this, which means I can do a lot of detailed work very comfortably. So I should say the grind on this, it is a 0 Scandi grind of, I believe, about 26 degrees, which is quite a lot wider than I would put on my Scandis. If you're the sort of person who's into sharpening a Scandi in the traditional way, which I think a lot of people are, then this is a good edge angle to have for woodwork primarily. It's going to be a very strong grind. It's going to hold up to a lot of tough use. It may not slice quite as well, but as far as shaving wood, it's going to work really well for that. Now I should also say that the spine on this is very sharp, nice 90-degree angle, so it should have no problem throwing sparks off a fire steel. Look at that shaving there, fantastic. Now the sheath that came with this knife is a neck carry kydex sheath. Rob is very well known for doing probably some of the best leather work in the British knife maker world that there is. But I opted for a very basic kydex neck sheath, which is fine. His leather work, though, I will have to say it's absolutely first class. But there's no issue with this. You know, it will work for it works for belt carry as well as neck carry, and again, at the end of the day, Mors-Kahansky was the sort of person who much preferred carrying a knife around his neck. So I think it's only right that we take this little knife and go and test it, see how it performs. So a great test of a knife really is to make a tent peg. So we'll see how it slices through this piece of hazel. First up, we want to stress the fibres, and then just going to slowly rock that cutting edge. Might have to chop that a little bit. There we go. chopping through this. Not bad. Tidy it up with some slicing cuts from a chest lever grip. There we go. Now I figured we might as well try it with a bit of splitting. So start with a small piece of seasoned ash and see how it goes. Probably have to work the corners of this because again we have only got a 4-inch blade, but let's put it through some work. Not being easy on this tool at all, because I really want to see how well that zero Scandi grind holds up to some serious batoning. Getting this truly wedged in now, and we are caught on a knot. Got a new batten here, so let's see if we can actually drive this through this knot. Taking some serious abuse there. Let's try something even more crazy. That does not want to split. It's gone there, but not there, so let's back. Let's see. Now I'm going to do another thing you should never do with a sheath knife batoning, and that's hit here. But the Mark 1's definitely up to the job. Now after all that, I'm just inspecting the state of the edge at the moment, albeit this is a zero Scandi grind, so it shouldn't really hold up too much, but I'm noticing no edge problems. There might be the slightest, let me just see if I can feel, no issues at all. That edge held up fantastically, even going through that really knotty piece. So yeah, even though it's a very thick, steep Scandi, it's incredibly strong. So straight off the back, just look at the curls that I'm able to produce with this knife. One of the reasons that it's such a good knife for shaving wood and for shaving a feather stick is because of that zero Scandi grind. It may be quite a steep grind, but I can just lay it really flat onto the workpiece. There's no guesstimation, it's just planing that wood so nicely. And if you're the sort of person who likes to make a really fancy feather stick and light it and put it on Instagram, as maybe I sometimes do as well, then this is certainly a brilliant knife to do that with. Probably the best knife I've ever used for doing this for feather sticks. Absolute joy. So again, we've got that really nice 90-degree spine, which we can use for getting some real nice fine scrapings, but it should also throw a really good shower of sparks. There we go. No problems there. So I'm going to have a go at a little project which is called a collapsible pot hanger. Essentially we're going to marry these two pieces of hazel up like this with a bit of a sort of Japanesey style notching method. Really good test of a knife though to see how well we can get precise and controlled cuts. So one of the things I'm noticing with the carving with this is, because I'm used to using a knife with a much higher grind, I'm used to taking quite much bigger pieces of wood out. And with this really doesn't want to do it, you have to put too much pressure in. So with this particular type of edge, I'm just trying to slow down a bit and just take smaller bits of wood away rather than honking off great pieces. As long as I slow down, it works fine. What I'm trying to do is to get a peg that I can seat in there that's going to match that hole, and that's going to pull this in a way that hopefully keeps these two together. And yeah, so we have a hangy potty thing that for some reason you might want to take apart. I don't know why, but you might. Well, there we go. That was a completely pointless exercise. I don't know in what world you would ever feel the need to have a pot hanger that collapses. For me, it's kind of silly, but it's a great test for a knife. And the Rob Evans Mark 1 performed fantastically at all sorts of things we've thrown at it today. We've done some pretty mean batoning with this, and the edge held up fantastic. Feather sticks. The best feather stick knife I've ever used. Only drawbacks I would say, and they're not really drawbacks, is the grind angle, and that's a matter of personal opinion. Rob is a big fan of having a 0 degree strong Scandi grind, and yes, this grind is really strong. I'm just used to a slightly higher grind that perhaps bites through material a bit easier, so I had to adjust the way I was using the knife and probably be a bit more gentle in my cutting rather than trying to hog through it. But as soon as I got down to that, then really it's been fantastic. So Rob sent me this knife probably about a year ago. I sent him a Leshy, so he's done a review of the Leshy, and this is my review of Rob's Mark 1. What can I say? Fantastic knife, highly recommend it. I'll post a link down below to Rob's website. If you're lucky enough to get one of these, you cannot go wrong. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you very much.